Hello lovely viewers, and welcome back to the Bold and the Beautiful News official YouTube channel, your top destination for the most explosive CBS soap updates. Make sure to smash that subscribe button and give this video a huge thumbs up. The storm that had been brewing in the heart of Steffy Forrester finally began to calm, though no one at the Cliff House could have predicted that this moment of baptism, this symbolic cleansing and rebirth, would involve not just her son Hayes or the fractured remnants of the Forrester family, but Sheila Carter herself. With the crashing of the waves in the distance and a quiet kind of grace falling over the house like a divine hush, Steffy stood in front of Sheila, her longtime enemy, the woman who had tried to end her life, the woman responsible for so many scars etched deep into the soul of the Forrester legacy, and did something no one thought possible. She extended a sliver of forgiveness. But not without fire. Not without a fury boiling beneath the surface like lava under a fragile crust. As the baptismal waters were prepared for Hayes' symbolic renewal, the atmosphere in the room was tense. Taylor stood to the side, her eyes rimmed with tears of confusion and hope. Ridge looked on with narrowed eyes, wary of Sheila's every breath, and Finn, torn between biological loyalty and the family he built, was shaking as he watched the mother who had terrorized his wife now fall to her knees in emotional submission. Sheila's voice cracked as she whispered, "I've changed, Steffy. I swear on my soul." Steffy's eyes narrowed, her jaw tightening, but as the tears streamed down her cheeks, she stepped forward, her voice trembling yet powerful, and said 5 words that stopped everyone cold. "You are forgiven, for now." Gasps echoed. Sheila sobbed. And then it began, a symphony of encouraging words from Taylor, who urged everyone to embrace healing, followed by angry threats from Ridge, who warned Sheila that if she ever slipped up again, she'd see a side of him no one had survived. Hope clung to Liam, still recovering in a hospital bed across town, unaware of the emotional bombs dropping at the Forrester estate. Meanwhile, Brooke and Donna arrived late, stunned by the sight of Sheila standing beside the baptismal font, crying beside her son and the woman she once shot. The baptism itself, symbolic of rebirth, mirrored the tenuous peace forming in the room. Steffy, through clenched teeth and watery eyes, told Sheila she was only letting go of hate for her own peace, not because she believed in Sheila's redemption. And when Sheila tried to reach out, Steffy flinched but didn't step away. "This doesn't mean we're family," Steffy added, her voice like glass. "This means I'm choosing peace, for Hayes. For Finn. For me." Sheila nodded, trembling, and through her sobs said, "I'll never hurt you again." Ridge wasn't having it. "One wrong move, and I'll make sure you disappear," he growled. The room was split, between those yearning for hope and those anchored in pain. Even Deacon, who stood near the back of the room, seemed torn, glancing from Sheila to the rest of the Forresters like a man witnessing the impossible. Encouraging words came from Carter, who spoke up gently about second chances. Zend, too, spoke of healing, remembering how many times the Forresters had forgiven each other. But Eric, silent, stoic, and weathered from years of betrayal, simply stared at Sheila and said nothing, his silence more deafening than any outburst. Paris comforted Finn, who looked pale and unsure, while Thomas quietly asked Taylor if she really believed Sheila could change. Taylor, her voice shaking, answered, "I have to believe, or what are we doing here?" As the baptism began, the priest acknowledged not only the symbolic washing of Hayes' spirit but also the unspoken need for healing among those present. And while water trickled down Hayes' head, Steffy held her child, her hand never letting go of Finn's. Sheila watched, silent, hand on heart, tears rolling freely. But peace came at a price. Angry threats echoed still. Katie warned Sheila never to come near Will, and Brooke warned Sheila to never manipulate Finn again. Yet somehow, amidst all the fire and fury, something sacred took root. A moment. A pause. A fragile beginning. And it all started with Steffy's 5 words, spoken through tears, "You are forgiven, for now." The bold and the beautiful spoilers indicate that we have to ask, does Luna Nozawa have an identical twin? A new character named Rana could be part of a big reveal, so let's consider an intriguing storyline option. BMB's offering some conflicting info at this point since what's happening on screen doesn't line up with what's ahead. Luna just flatlined and is confirmed to be the patient who doesn't make it through surgery alive. However, Lisa Yamada was at the studio filming as recently as June 30th. Thanks to a script that Catherine Kelly Lang posted in an Instagram story, we know Luna is featured in the cast list for an episode that'll air September 8th. With that in mind, we should mull over the possibilities here. One possibility is that Luna will appear in ghostly form, but a significant twist is probably more likely. Luna's demise could be a fake-out, just like John Finn Finnegan's death was after he got shot in the alley. Finn seemed like he was dead and gone, but it was later revealed that Lee Finnegan secretly saved him. There are all sorts of soapy ways to work around a fatal exit, so we're not too worried about the details. It's bound to be far-fetched anyway, so Luna's survival story may just be something that fans have to roll with. That said, there's one more option that could redeem Luna and give her a chance to bond with Finn in the end. What if the Luna that just went on this wild rampage isn't the real Luna at all? Luna appeared to be a sweet little angel when she first arrived in Los Angeles. Luna had a boring romance with R.J. Forrester and behaved like a totally different person. The bold and the beautiful spoilers for Thursday, July 10th, reveal that Poppy Nozawa will learn Luna Nozawa's fate while Bill Spencer faces a crushing double Liam Spencer blow. At the hospital, Hope Logan will show up now that she's been summoned and push Steffy Forrester for details on what happened. Steffy will spill the whole ugly story and praise Liam for being her hero at the beach house. Naturally, when Bill learns about the shooting, he will also demand answers. B&B spoilers say Bill will reel over Luna being responsible for Liam's ordeal, but he'll really blame himself for getting Luna out of prison. Unfortunately, there'll be another shocker for Bill to face since he'll find out about Liam's brain tumor soon as well. Hope may explain everything once she crosses paths with Bill in the waiting area. It'll be a lot for Bill to wrap his head around since he'll learn Liam's already dying. This shooting ordeal will leave Bill worried about losing Liam even sooner than expected, so he'll be an emotional wreck. Liam will land in a coma following his surgery, but what about Luna? Because the operating room has already been difficult, Lee Finnegan is afraid that they will lose Luna and refuses to let that happen. B&B spoilers indicate that someone won't come out of the OR alive, so all signs point to that being Luna. However, we also know Luna has more appearances ahead and will still be on the show in September according to a script from an upcoming episode. Will all that add up to Luna's death being faked? Will he somehow secretly save Luna despite how bleak the situation seems? Whatever the case, Poppy will find out about all the Luna chaos and come rushing to the hospital for some shocking updates on her daughter. The bold and the beautiful spoilers for the week of July 14th indicate that Poppy will eventually discover Luna's fate, but keep an eye out to see if there is any deception involved. Fans can expect to learn what happens to Luna Nozawa and Liam Spencer. Plus, there is a shocking twist ahead for Lee Finnegan. Keep reading and let's talk about what is coming up in the CBS soap opera. Liam Spencer's coma. Let's start off with Liam. Fans know that the man was diagnosed with an inoperable, fatal brain tumor. The character has made it his mission to protect Steffy Forrester Finnegan and the kids from Luna. Liam took a big chance and ended up getting shot. However, Luna was also stopped from her shooting madness. It is teased that Liam will end up in a coma. What about Luna, though? Luna Nozawa's fate. A script leak shows that both Liam and Luna are still on screen in September 2025. So, that indicates both of them survived the surgeries. However, it is also stated that someone doesn't make it out of surgery alive. Or, that is what they want us to think. There were clues from Lee that she could be developing a softness for Luna. The doctor doesn't believe she was born bad. So, could Lee fake Luna's death, then try to fix her killer niece? Lee also said she would handle telling Poppy Nozawa about Luna's shooting. That is a bit similar to what Lee did to a dead John Finn Finnegan. John Finnegan's grief. The bold and the beautiful spoilers for next week reveal that Finn and everyone else will believe Luna is dead. That will be a relief for a lot of people, but it will get complicated for Finn and Sheila Carter-Sharp. Despite Sheila's difficulties, Luna and the young woman developed a bond with her. Finn wrote Luna off to protect his family, but even he will have some guilt over his dead daughter. Week of July 14th, 2025. There will also be Bill Spencer, who will want to be by comatose Liam's side. However, he is blocked from seeing his son. Fans will also see some developments in what Grace Buckingham is hiding. It has something to do with Liam's brain tumor and the extreme treatment that has been suggested. Could Grace be part of a medical scheme, and how far will she go to keep her secret? The sterile scent of antiseptic clung to the air, thick with dread as the double doors of the operating room slammed shut behind a rushing trauma team. The entire Forrester clan, plus Logan and Spencer loyalists, waited with bated breath outside the emergency ward, eyes wide, fingers twitching, pacing the floor. The halls of the hospital had become a silent battleground between hope and despair. A baptism of fire had begun, not just for Luna Nozawa, who had just flatlined during emergency surgery, but for everyone whose lives had been touched by the blood spilled at the beach house. In the eye of the storm was Lee Finnegan, her surgical gloves soaked and trembling slightly as she emerged from the OR, her voice shaking as she declared one chilling sentence, "We lost her." And with those 3 words, a wave of grief swept over the room like a tsunami. But what the rest of the hospital didn't know, what even Poppy Nozawa herself had yet to discover, was that Lee had not entirely told the truth. It began hours earlier, when Luna was rushed into surgery after being shot during a confrontation that spiraled out of control. Blood pooled too fast, and her vitals dropped too quickly. Lee's mind raced with the echoes of the past, of another patient declared dead before being smuggled away into secret recovery, her son, John Finn Finnegan. As Luna's heart monitor let out a high-pitched, flat tone and the attending nurse began calling the time of death, Lee did the unthinkable, again. With every eye focused on the clock, she quietly injected a sedative and disconnected Luna from the main monitors. "Call it," she said coldly, then turned to an assistant. "I'll take care of her body." It was a baptism into darkness, an immersion into deception she had vowed never to repeat, until now. Hours later, while the family mourned in the waiting room, Luna was wheeled out the back, unconscious but alive, hidden beneath a body bag and transferred to a secret wing of the hospital. Only Lee and one trusted intern named Casey knew the truth. Back in the hospital lobby, Hope Logan burst through the doors, her eyes wild with panic. "Where's Steffy?" "What happened?" she cried, almost colliding with Bill Spencer, whose jaw clenched so tight his cheeks trembled. "Where's my son?" Bill growled, grabbing a nurse by the arm. "Where's Liam?" "Where is he?" Steffi stepped forward, visibly shaken but holding herself together. Her voice cracked. "Liam. He saved me, Hope. He threw himself in front of me when Luna aimed the gun. He's in surgery now, there was bleeding on the brain." Bill staggered backward, catching himself on a nearby chair. "My boy, my Liam, is fighting for his life?" he asked, nearly breathless. "And Luna?" Hope asked, her voice catching. "We lost her," Steffi whispered, but her eyes betrayed uncertainty. Something didn't feel right. Bill's fury boiled over. "This is my fault," he shouted, voice echoing through the halls. "I got her out of jail. I thought she was better. I thought she could change. I gambled on her soul and lost my son." Hope stepped forward, trying to calm him. "Bill, none of this is your fault. Luna was different. Like something took over her." "That wasn't the Luna I knew," R.J. Forrester muttered under his breath. That sentiment echoed in every corner of the room. The Luna they had come to know, quiet, intelligent, caring, had morphed into someone erratic and dangerous. But the truth was even more shocking than they realized. Far from the mourning families, in a sealed ICU ward, Luna Nozawa stirred beneath the covers of an isolated recovery bed. But as her eyelashes fluttered and her breathing evened, Lee sat by her side, watching carefully. "You're safe now," Lee whispered. "No one can hurt you. And no one knows you're alive. But there's something you need to know, something your mother didn't tell you." Lee opened a sealed envelope taken from a safety deposit box that had belonged to her sister, Poppy Nozawa. Inside was a photograph of 2 identical girls, one labeled Luna, and the other Rana. "You had a twin, Luna." "A twin you never knew about," Lee whispered, brushing a tear off her cheek. But it wasn't you who pulled the trigger at the beach house. It was her. Meanwhile, at the Forrester estate, Poppy Nozawa collapsed into a sobbing heap upon hearing of Luna's supposed death. Her cries pierced the air like broken glass, yet something about her sobs felt off. Deacon, by her side, tried to comfort her, but even he noticed how she refused to look at Lee's face when she later arrived to break the news. "I'm so sorry, Poppy," Lee offered softly, her voice choked with feigned sorrow. Poppy only nodded. She knew something Lee didn't know she knew. Rana is real. And Poppy had kept her hidden for 2 decades. Elsewhere, John Finnegan was spiraling. He sat by Liam's hospital bed, staring at the pale face of a man who had just taken a bullet for his wife. His emotions were chaotic, a swirl of guilt, confusion, and a strange sorrow. "I told myself I was protecting Steffy," Finn muttered aloud. "But in turning my back on Luna, did I kill her?" He blamed himself. He remembered how he had dismissed Luna's pleas for help, how he told her to stay away from his family, how he, too, was fooled by the strange, cold glint in her eyes, thinking she had turned. What he hadn't known was that Rana had slipped into Luna's life and taken control. As the week progressed, more layers of the twisted mystery unraveled. Hope stumbled upon a medical chart left open in a side room. Her eyes darted to the blood type listed for Luna during the post-surgical flatline. "AB negative," she whispered aloud. "But Luna's chart from months ago says she's O positive." She felt a chill roll down her spine. She ran to Steffy. "Something's off. What if that wasn't Luna in surgery?" Steffy paled. "Don't go there." But Hope wouldn't let it go. Angry threats filled the air when Bill confronted Poppy in the hospital cafeteria. "You knew something, didn't you?" he demanded. "That wasn't Luna." "I know it wasn't. I saw her face. It was blank. Like she wasn't even there." Poppy looked around, lips trembling. I don't know what you're talking about." "Don't lie to me," Bill bellowed, slamming his palm on the table. "You had 2 daughters, didn't you?" That was the final crack. Poppy broke. "She was taken from me when they realized she was dangerous. I tried to keep them apart." "You failed," Bill spat. "And now Liam is in a coma because of it." The final baptism was spiritual, emotional, and metaphorical. At Liam's bedside, the family gathered to say prayers, thinking it might be the end. Brooke read a passage about rebirth, Steffy wept silently holding his hand, and Finn stepped forward to offer words of forgiveness. "I'm sorry, Liam," Finn whispered, eyes full of regret. "You deserved better, from all of us." And as the monitor beeped rhythmically, Liam stirred. Elsewhere, Rana was dead, killed during surgery, her identity hidden under Luna's name. Luna, alive and confused, struggled with the pieces. "What did she do?" she asked Lee weakly, eyes full of dread. "She tried to become you," Lee said solemnly. "But I won't let your name go down in shame. You'll be reborn. You'll start over." And with that, Luna's baptism began, not of water, but of truth. She would return to the world, not as the shattered shadow of a villain, but as a symbol of second chances, of family secrets laid bare, and of the bold and the beautiful strength within. The storm had been brewing for months, but no one expected it to end with a bullet, a flatline, and a funeral shrouded in deception. Outside the operating room, hearts raced and tempers flared as doctors scrambled to revive the girl everyone thought they knew, Luna Nozawa. But what the audience, the families, and even the doctors didn't realize, was that the girl on the table wasn't Luna at all. While alarms blared and surgical teams worked frantically to restart a fading heartbeat, Dr. Lee Finnegan stood motionless for a moment, staring into the lifeless face of the young woman before her. "She's gone," one nurse whispered. Another began recording the time of death. But Lee's mind was racing, not with grief, but with recognition. This isn't Luna. This is her twin. The truth hit Lee like a scalpel to the chest. A secret buried so deep it was nearly erased had resurfaced. As a medical professional, she knew the details didn't line up. The girl on the table had a different blood type. The patient's iris scan showed anomalies. But the resemblance was uncanny, a mirror image of Luna down to the curve of her jaw and the scar near her ear. That's when Lee remembered something Poppy had once muttered after a few too many glasses of wine. There was another one, but she was dangerous.